Heidi ho, everyone. How are you doing? This is Sharon Combs with Knowledge or Nonsense. Man, it's been a minute, but I'm so glad to be back here. I'm so glad to be with you. Thank you all for the support, for the kudos. You know, I'm going to ask you, share this video. Share this video. If you're looking right now on YouTube, what you can do that will be very helpful for us here at the Knowledge and Nonsense Network is you can subscribe right now while I'm talking, and you can share the video. And if you really want to do us a solid, you can make a comment either on LinkedIn or YouTube, because that lets both of those platforms know that you are enjoying the content that we bring to you, and we want to continue to bring to you. Listen, today is an amazing day. It is a day full of hope, possibility, transparency, and excellence. So some of you know we're going to have a special guest with us today, and to say that I am excited already would be an understatement. I am excited. I've been thinking about this all day. People are already here to support GSPA. I see you, LinkedIn. I see you, Rebecca. Good. I'm loving it. The more comments, please interact with us, guys. Interact with us. This is Knowledge and Nonsense is about increasing visibility, but it's also always been about supporting the surgical support community. And we are our own voice. You are your voice. And so let's let your voices be heard. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to play the intro one more time. That gives you an opportunity now that you've subscribed. And I see a couple of you have put comments in. Now you can share the video. We'll be back in about 15 seconds with our most awesome guest. And I will introduce her once we return back. Let's go. Hey, Chimere, how are you?
Hello. I am fine. How are you?
I am well. I'm good. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited. I'm gonna go ahead and say it one good time. Man,
I am super excited.
Yes, likewise. You know, sometimes you just know it's right. You know it's right, and I'm so excited and appreciative. Hey, but before I get into how right it is, let me just let people know who I have with me today. Guys, this is Chimere Curry. And one of the things I like about Chimere, I met her, and you know how you can meet someone and you like, yeah. You know, that's all it is, just like, yeah. There's no standards of perfection, but there's such a quality of excellence. And that's how it was when I met this young lady. And I want to let you know, leadership is about more than holding a title. It is about lifting others, driving change, and like leaving like a lasting impact. And Chimere has been doing the work. You know, she's been doing the work as a subject matter expert. She's been doing the work with GSPA. She's been doing the work even by just stepping up and being visible. They're working out in the communities. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I was looking for a voice. I was like, where is the voice that really that it would be a good fit both ways? And I didn't even know her phone number, and wouldn't you know, making the call and it came. So Chimere is from Detroit. She said yes to some opportunities, and those opportunities led her here. She's currently a subject matter expert with HSPA. She is the president of her chapter. Oh my gosh, conference speaker. I heard so many amazing things about the wow factor at HSPA Vegas last year, where they were able to present and really just connect and meet up with those in our industry, you know, your fellow colleagues. And so I won't go too deep into everything, Chimere. But yeah, is there anything you'd like to share with the viewers?
Look, I'm so happy to be here. And of course, I got to shout my chapter out, GSPA Strong. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And, you know, let's get into it.
All right, then let's, as she said, let's get into it. Well, how about I ask you a few questions? And guys, you all can ask questions too. I know some of you know Chimere, but if you don't, ask her some questions. Ask her, you know, how she happened to be in this spot or where she's from, different things like that. Feel free to ask those questions to her. So first things first, let me get my list out. Chimere, do you mind telling us a little bit? So you presented last year at HSPA Vegas, and I heard so many good things from everyone at all different organizational levels, from directors to technicians, from lead technicians to educators. Everybody had amazing things to say about their presentation that you all did. So can you tell us a little bit about the road to HSPA, like how that
Oh,
happened?
yes. Well, let me give you just a little bit of background first. So
All right.
I started in sterile processing way back in 2023. I'm sorry, not 2023,
I was like, that's
2000.
last year.
Right, 2003, by accident. And so I thought I was taking a course to be a scrub tech, and I was really in a course that was a certificate program for sterile processing. But I liked it so much that I just decided to go ahead and stay. And so here I am, 20 years later, um, still working in the field, still going strong. There's still a lot of work to be done. But um, when I first went to a HSPA conference, I was in complete awe of everything that I saw. So many like-minded people who enjoyed and loved the profession, and to be able to network with them and get all of that information. So I knew from the first time that I went that I wanted to be on that stage as a speaker. Um,
Nice.
After that, in 2023, I believe, got a team together and we started working on a presentation to submit for 2024. And we were accepted. So that's how we got to 2024 GSPA, I'm sorry, HSPA conference. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was the best thing, guys. Um, After that, I was asked to be a subject matter expert. And then after that, we started the reboot of our chapter. And so it's been a very long journey in the coming, but I'm actually going to be speaking this year, in 2025 in Kentucky. So it's coming. It's coming.
I'm so excited about it. Can I just ask a little bit more? Can you go into the after that? Because sometimes I've heard inside of facilities, I've heard on my social media, people reaching out and direct message, people saying under the comments, there's nowhere to go in sterile processing. And so they stay, they don't give the extra. But there are lots of people who give the extra too. So can we just stay a moment on your after that's like, do you remember maybe the first thing that made you say, you know what, I'm going to do more or give more to this industry? Do you remember kind of?
You know what? I've always, once I took the class, I knew I loved it. I knew I cared about it. I knew that it mattered. In terms of being in the position to want to share my knowledge, that really genuinely came from attending that conference and understanding the impact that it had on our industry as a whole, to see so many people come and want to partake in that knowledge. And for me, it was putting in the work. It's really putting in the work. Um, it took a lot of work and it took a lot of time to get that presentation together. And so when I say I got my team together, it really just came from me understanding who I was. And so I had a fear of speaking in public. And so I called up my friends. I said, hey, look, guys, I want to speak in this conference. Can you please do it with me? And thankfully, they said yes. And so overcoming that fear is what kind of led me into all of this after that, because it has been a whirlwind ever since then, from helping out with my chapter reboot to then sitting in as interim secretary for my chapter to then being voted as president for the chapter and then being asked to be a subject matter expert last year and this year and then speaking again this year. So it was really understanding what my goal was and then putting in the work.
Okay. Now, along those lines, you've been sterile processing, I'm going to say 20 plus years, which may make you like 21. Okay, maybe even 29. But you've been in sterile processing for at least a couple of decades, right? Are there any words of wisdom? What words of wisdom would you have for someone?
Oh my goodness. So, words of wisdom. Okay. I'm going to take myself and I'm going to think about who I was when I started in this career path. And so when I started, and one thing that I tell people a lot, even to this day, is if you get in, do what you need to do, and keep your head down, you will be okay. And what I mean by that is
Okay.
no place is perfect, no matter where you are. No place is perfect. And so when I say keep your head up, keep your head down, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. Follow those processes. If you come in and you don't worry about the rest of the stuff, because it can be um, a lot at sometimes. It is a part of surgery. So it can get very busy, it can get, very crazy. But if you come in, do what you have to do and do it the correct way every time, you will be absolutely fine in this career.
All right. And
Um,
you said, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I want to hear you.
If we talk about my words of advice for today, I would say be the person who you want to lead you.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
I have been in this field for a long time. I have been in leadership for
That's
a long
good.
time. And I've had a lot of people come into my office and say, "Hey, look, I'm ready to be in leadership." And the first thing that I ask them is, have you taken a look in the mirror? Right? So I want you to review yourself first. Do you follow processes? Um, do when no one else
Mm,
is looking, right? Do you come to work
yes.
on time? Right? Because before you can lead someone else, we have to get ourselves together first. So first, I
Yes.
want you to look at um, what you're doing in the department, and so um, be the person who you want to lead you.
I
Right?
love that because I love it. It actually points towards solution. It points toward leading by example. There are a lot of things that happen where people see things that they don't want to see anymore,
Mhm.
and they stop right there. You still want to go ahead and get a solution, because if you only are doing it because of what you don't want to see, if that's your only reason, there's no care for the people, there's no care for the industry. It's just, I don't like how they do that and I want to do something different. Then that's something you really get into what I call deficit leadership. And whatever you focus on, you gravitate toward. So if you're only focusing on the deficits of that facility didn't do this, or this department ain't that, or the manager ain't that, then what'll happen is you'll begin to duplicate the very things that you did not like. And so
Mhm.
you always want to do your utmost to have a solution, an alternative method, something else that you can bring to the table, and not just say, I don't like chicken. They shouldn't serve chicken, but you're not offering anything else. Do you have some salmon? There's some vegetables. Like, what are you bringing to to replace the chicken? Because people have to eat, and in workspaces, it's the same thing. People have to work. So, what are you bringing to that space? So, I like that. Be the leader. Be the person you want to lead you. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I love that. What did you say? Lead by example. I love
Yes.
I love that. As a leader, I have always been the person who's like, hey, look, if you need me to run the sterilizers, I'm running sterilizers. If I need to go and decontaminate, turn something over, okay, I'm going and decontaminate, turning something over. I'm never above that work. This is what we do, and I tell people that all the time. This is what we do. Um,
Excellent.
yes.
So,
Future. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, do it, do it, do it. What is the word of wisdom for the future? Let's go. Yes.
Ah, so future words of wisdom, and this actually ties into something I hope that we can get into a little bit later. Um, but hold your form is something that I read your book, and your book was absolutely amazing, and it has been on my mind. But when I say hold your form, I feel like we have gotten into an era of people who are getting burned out in the workforce. And
Yes.
over the last couple of months, I've had a lot of people come to me and just in general conversation say that they're prioritizing their self care, whether it's mental, emotional, physical health, but really self care for themselves. Um, and so for future state, I would say that, for anybody who is coming into the field, make sure that you're mindful of prioritizing your work-life balance, because it's important.
Yeah, it is important. One of my mentors, who one of my somebody I really listen to, and I listen to her words and everything. But we were talking about the cup. I did a teaching on refilling the healthcare workers' cup, and she took it like a step further. She was like, often we pour out of our cup, but she's a person of faith, and I am too. She said a lot of times people don't understand what's in the cup is actually for you. The overflow is what we're supposed to share with those around us. And that way, if we keep our cup full, then people can come from the overflow and we won't be so depleted or so drained. Because when you're depleted and drained, even that you love to do can, you start snapping at people and they come in trying to tell you their story. And you're like, well, we all got stories, like the grace is no longer there. So,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It took me a long time to figure out how important work-life balance was, just because I was so hungry for my career, right? So I didn't really prioritize that the way that I needed to. And it took me a really long time to find out how important prioritizing your mental state, prioritizing your emotional state, prioritizing the time that you spend with your family, because those are things that you can't get back. Once that moment is gone, the moment is gone. You can rebuild and you can restructure and you can try to move forward. But once that moment is gone, it's gone. And when you talk about pouring from one's cup, that is something that I've heard so much over just the last couple of months, and just making sure that we share with others what our overflow is so that we don't drain ourselves.
First off, I want to thank you for saying that about the book. I did not ask her to give me a plug, but I do think that book is amazing. I believe it should be on everyone's coffee table and in people's bathrooms too, because you can open it and whatever you read will be something that can add value to your day there. But you said that about the book, and we're talking about self-care. And when the book starts, there's a chapter that really deals with the hold your form from someone running track. And what happened is they went from running like the 40-yard dash to the 400. And if you don't know, you'll just think, well, I'm an athlete, I can run. You don't realize that the 40 and the 400 are two completely different races. They use different sets of muscles. And where you are used to winning in that 40-yard dash, that 400, you're going to have some endurance, some stamina, and you have to do different things with your body. And in that particular instance, when you're tired or you're not conditioned, like you didn't prepare for that 400, you only prepare for where you've been, not where you're going, not what's in the front of you, then what happens is you will not be able to hold your form because you'll get tired. And things that normally wouldn't bother you, like the wind, began to be a form of resistance for something where you're accustomed to getting a win. You're accustomed to not win, W-I-N-D, but winning, like all I do is win. You're accustomed to that. And then all of a sudden, you're not winning and other people are flying by you and you're like, wait, what's going on? But it was something you didn't prepare for. And so there are different things in hold your form there. And even with self-care, if you don't take care of yourself, things that normally would not be an obstacle or a barrier will show up as such. And so I want to thank you for that. I see a comment or two in there. But before we go to the comments, let's take a really quick commercial break. I'm gonna go ahead and put the book out there. That's what we're gonna see in this little. I'm gonna do a little promo video for the book, and then we'll be right back. And I want to ask you a few more questions, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. All right, and we are back. I want to say hey to Kenneth Campbell from Time to Talk. You guys come and check him out on Thursday evenings. You know, Time to Talk is bringing it. They're talking about quality, efficiency this entire season. Thank you, Barry. Barry is the man. Thank you, Barry. I see Tandria. I saw Kyrie. I saw GSPA. just really in the house and representing for you. So, all that being said, tell me about GSPA. GSPA, I see some things on LinkedIn. You guys are leading the charge. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes. GSPA has been a whirlwind for me that I did not know I was ready for. And let me give you just a quick story. If I have a moment, I want to give you a quick story because
Yes.
it ties into the hold your form piece we just talked about. When I decided, one of the people that I really look up to in this industry, um, last year at conference after speaking, I had already decided, you know what, I really love this and I really love speaking. And at some point, I would like to be president one day. And so I was talking to um, one of the people that I really look up to in this industry, and she said, Chimere, what is it that you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do? You have a really good buzz right now. Things are going really well for you. What is it that you want to do? And I said, I want to be president. And she said, okay, well, let me tell you, pace yourself. She said, because now that you are out there, now that people are noticing you, now that you have spoken, and now that you're really being intentional about that, it is going to come at you so fast. So pace yourself so that you don't get burnt out before you get to the finish line. And I have taken that to heart so much. And I think about it all the time. Because I want to pace myself, right? I don't want to be in a situation where I don't make it to my finish line and don't get what I need. With GSPA, it kind of all happened really fast. And so we got a phone call to do a reboot for our chapter. And I said, of course, I want to participate in that. And then in July, we did our reboot. It was super successful. We were very shocked by how many people turned out for us. You spoke for us in our October event, and that was awesome as well. I was voted in to be the president, and now we are looking in 2025 to roll out something that we are calling Be the Change. And so if you guys are seeing that, if you're here, if you're on LinkedIn, any of the social medias, you'll see everywhere that we're promoting Be the Change. And what that really is about understanding that we could all use somebody right now in this time. We could all afford to know that we have someone in our corner, right? It's a lot going on in the world right now. And like I said before, a lot of people are really focusing in on self-care, like I said, whether mentally or emotionally. And so Be the Change is about making sure that you do something every day to help someone else. I feel like we have gotten in a way as a community that we don't really help people. We more so watch them. We watch people go through. We get out our phones and we get out our cameras and we post all of these things for likes and views. But at what point did you just stop and help someone? Right? When you saw them going through.
Right.
Sometimes people just need a hug. You just never know. Sometimes people just need a few words of encouragement. And so for me, I'm asking my brothers and sisters who are in healthcare to be the change that they want to see.
Yeah. And I'm saying yes to that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just feel like we are who we are. It takes special people to work in this field and dedicate their selves and their lives to caring for other people. And so we are who we are inside that building and outside of that building, right? And so if we commit to that, if every one of us just commit to being the change that we want to see, just imagine what we can do. Healthcare is universal and it's never going anywhere. So if we commit to just doing something every single day, no matter how big, no matter how small, that's going to help someone else get over that hump, get to that next step, just imagine.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how aligned we are. And it's just amazing to me how aligned we are because we really, like, we don't have 15 years behind us of where we've been working together or networking together. We I did, you know, I met you and I saw you at GSPA, but as far as like talking about values and what's important and kind of how we see things and how we both like to give, we hadn't had those conversations prior to like the phone calls. And I was like, this is crazy, but this is amazing. And this is right. Like, this is right here. So that's really been kind of good for us there. Now, I am going to, you know, those of you are watching, I know you guys saw Passing the Torch, you saw some of the things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull you out for just a minute, Chimere. I'm going to pull you away from the thing. Y'all don't run, she's coming back. But I'm going to pull you out for just a minute, and I'm going to actually read parts of your bio, and I'm going to share some things. When we come back, I am hopefully then, if you want, you can ask me some questions, and let's go. And y'all can ask questions out there too. It's all good. It is all good. So Chimere, I'm going to pull you out for just a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you guys why, for lack of a better word, why I really felt that Chimere, I know she's not the only one. You know, we have the David Jagrosses, we have the Sharon Green Goldens, Jamel Rosses, Kyrie, Anthony Bondin. We have these individuals that are champions and advocates of our industry, you know, day in and day out. When the cameras are on and when the cameras are nowhere to be found, they're doing the work. You know, I think about Anthony Bondin picking me up from airports with not asking for gas money or anything, but just doing the things to make sure we can get to these chapter meetings and invest in individuals. I think about Lori German, you know, just people who have selflessly given when there doesn't seem to be an immediate reward. They're just giving. And that's the type of individuals I really feel like are in sterile processing. People who care about the patient, they're fighting for the patient, they care about their colleagues, and they don't always get like the, you know, the cameras aren't always on them, but the detail oriented and the passion and the discipline typically really stays there when they are working. Yes, I'm SPD adjacent, but I've seen it. I've seen it with people. I see people who really care about their teams and they love what they do. And so I was like, okay, well, who can I pass the torch to? This platform has been amazing for me. I want to do some more things behind the scenes. There are opportunities there that some of you may know or may not know. And I'll still be speaking. I love speaking. I have engagements. I'll be somewhere February 1st. Like I'm good. I'm good through May. You can still get at me, but I'm good. But I was like, I could see so many people coming into the industries, the Rebecca Laubers, the Rebecca Paplows, just people who really care about this industry. And I was like, all right, then who can I actually, you know, who might be a good person for me to talk about this with? And I wrote down a few names, but it didn't even matter the names I wrote down if I can just be transparent, because I wrote down Chimere's name and I was like, I don't even have her phone number. Why would that even be the thought? And it just kept staying with me. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call this lady. I'm gonna reach out on LinkedIn. I'm gonna do what I need to do, but I'm gonna reach out to her and say, hey, is this something that, yes, somebody put, if you tend to your garden, you will bear fruit. Absolutely. And so I reached out to Chimere. I digress right there. Y'all stay with me. Y'all know we live. I reached out to Chimere and I was just like, hey, A, B, C, D. And you know what Chimere said? E, F, J, K. Like, it just did like this. It all went together. And I was like, okay. And so with the breaking news, I want to let you guys know that Chimere, this wonderful person who I'm about to pass this torch to, you know, she has commitment to education, process improvement, and policy. She makes many contributions to this field that we may or may not know about as a subject matter expert. Again, speaking at HSPA, that's a big deal. It's a great deal for them to accept you to speak, but even to put yourself out there and say, hey, look, I want to empower my community. I want to empower this industry. I want to serve this industry by speaking. And so with Chimere, I just really feel like her journey reminds us all of like the importance of learning, of growing, of sharing knowledge with our peers. Everything doesn't have a dollar amount attached to it. Her ability to balance her skills with the vision for the future is something that is so lined up with knowledge and nonsense. And so, guys, I'm going to be passing the torch to her. Now, y'all may see me. You may see me. There'll be some times, you know, But yes, it is, Anthony. Okay, yes, it is, Anthony. Y'all better come on with it, getting these comments. But Chimere is going to be the host. This other, she's telling me to bring her back in. Okay, I see you, Chimere. I'm coming. I'm coming. Yes. So I want to ask you, Chimere, because I am going to bring you in. I want to ask you, like, what made you say yes? Because the moment you were like, EFJK, I was like, oh my God, inside, like, like just sigh, because it's when the things work together like that. So let me bring Chimere back in, and I'm going to ask Chimere, I know I didn't talk everything, but what do you like? What made you actually say yes? And not only what made you say yes, but how do you see this platform being a tool to serve our industry during your tenure, during your season? Oh yeah, boom, bam. Broke it down to you. Right?
Okay. What made me say yes? I talk to God about everything. About everything. So when I became the chapter president, of course, I talked about what directions should the chapter go in. What do I need to do? And community outreach just kept coming to me, and it kept coming up in conversation, etc. And so that's why we started that program, because it was something that the chapter wasn't doing previously. Um, then we got our team together. We tried to figure out, how do we promote that? How do we implement that? What does that look like? And there was talk about doing podcasts and webinars, and just really trying to figure out how to put that word out. Um, During that time is when I got the phone call from you. And so for me, that felt like confirmation,
Yes.
right? When we're talking about doing the podcast and doing webinars, and what does that look like? And then I get a phone call out of the blue from you. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. But what really, really did it for me is that conversation that we had, and understanding how much we aligned with just helping inside and outside of the out of the hospital. When you told me the story, about how Knowledge and Nonsense got started, and just wanting to promote that information to make sure that people are aware,
Yeah.
that let me know that this is the platform that I need to be on. This is how you really push that, be the change, right? Because, like I said, my goal here is, it's nice to have GSPA be the change and commit to that. And I want that for my chapter. I do. However, if we can get on a global level and be the change, that's really
Yeah.
saying something. That's really doing something. That is what's really going to make the impact for our community, because that's what it's really about. And that's why we're promoting this. So to be able to use your platform and something that you've already poured into and built up, and to me, I'm so honored for you to give me that opportunity, because this is the way, and my confirmation of, this is how you spread the word for change. Okay, I see you, God. I got you.
Yeah, and being, yes, I love it. So guys, you see be the change right there. I would love it. Let's get some hearts out here, whatever platform you're looking at. Let's do some hearts, or whatever shows support. Again, feel free to subscribe, but let's just type in be the change, because that's something that GSPA is pushing, but it's not limited to GSPA. As a matter of fact, I know that other people have already began to say ways that they could be the change. And so let's just show some support. I'm gonna show some myself and comment in here, be the change, even though I'm speaking with you right now. But that's what we do need that. And I like that, because it takes ownership. It takes ownership, and it says, I will intentionally contribute. I will intentionally contribute. I will not just talk about it. I will not just say, huh, sure, what it is, and but I will intentionally contribute. I will give my mental faculties, my physical, like I will intentionally contribute. If y'all didn't get that, I said intention and contribute, but in being the change. So that's what that is. And I see people putting be the change inside of there.
Be the change.
Somebody said, don't, okay, lift the people up, lift their spirits. Hey, Richard. Hey, Tori. Brian. Hey, Brian. Yes. So many people are, so few people watching this. So did you have anything else you wanted to share about that? About the time, or GSPA, is there anything on your heart that you want to share before I pass the baton?
I do actually. So in this moment, before we pass the torch, I do want to ask of some of you to be the change and to take that challenge. And Sharon, I'm going to start with you and asking you to be the change that you want to see. And I'm going to call out some of these people that are here watching today. So I see Brian North, Kyrie Thomas, Tandria Hall, Tori, Aisha Wynn, Alex, Conde. Be the change that you want to see, right? Join in, follow the chapter on LinkedIn, and see how you can join the change and how you can commit to that.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
Harry
Okay.
Mullen, be the change. I'm sorry.
Yes. Harry, I see Harry in there. I see Defina. Defina is saying be the change as well. Hey, Defina, how are you? Yes. So I see it. Oftentimes you'll see who, even though we can see people who are watching, like the people on LinkedIn, this doesn't record them. So when these people come up and it says LinkedIn, those are in addition. So were you asking me about how I would be the change, or?
Absolutely.
Wait.
I'm asking you to take the challenge in the moment.
Look, y'all, this is on the desk behind me, right? And this is something someone made for me way back in like 2004, 2005. A lady in my church made this for me. And she always told me, she said, make sure that you stay a polished sword. If you get dull, and it's a wooden sword, but they handmade it. And so I don't have a baton to hand you or a torch, but I am like, ding, ding. Yes, I just want to say this, I knight you. If I could knight you, I knight you. Because I'm excited about, I just love like-minded individuals and people who are like, yeah, let's do this. Let's run this race. Let's be the change. I see Absolutely. Latoya in here as well. So hey, asking Latoya. Me, yeah, you know what? That's it. I am now in your capable hands. And the first question is, how will I be the change?
Yes.
All right. I will continue to do the things I do as far as trying to assist in visibility, whatever that visibility looks like, because I believe our voice matters, not just as a race or not just as women, as a sex, but our industry, our voice matters. The people who are working day in and day out with the instruments, with knowing inventory, knowing what systems work for real and what systems only work on paper, those individuals. So I'll continue to do my best to increase visibility there, be it through books, podcasts, or whatever. But personally, how I will be the change is I will continue to not match the energy that I don't want to match. When I first got into this industry, it was a lot of the things I heard in LinkedIn, on Facebook, in some of the groups, people were always complaining. People were just always fussing because of what someone else didn't do outside, how the OR treats us. Listen, I'm not giving the OR a pass, but I'm also not giving the OR a prison sentence either, because sometimes if we would change our narrative, then others can change their narrative. And sometimes we want to match energy if we don't like what they're doing. And I've seen it where people say the OR treat us like such and such, or the OR treats us like dishwashers. Then how are you treating dishwashers when you make that statement? And so if you don't like when someone is doing something to you or a behavior of someone else, why are you matching it? I've never understood, why are you matching that energy? Because ultimately, then you're not going to like you. You're not going to like you. You're taking up on something. And so what I'll do to continue to really be the change I want to see is not match energy. I will not match energy that I don't want more of. If it's energy I want more of, not only am I going to match it, I'm going to emulate it. I'm going to try to help other people. Hey guys, listen to this, but I will not match negative energy. I will do whatever I can to change the narrative, even if it means I'm the only one speaking it for a season. I will continue to speak it. I will continue to speak possibility. I will continue to speak options. I will continue to speak hope, and with integrity and with honesty, So that's how I really want to be the change. I see somebody throwing their other chapter in here. We see you. We see you. MSPA, we see you. Yes. So that's how I believe that's how I will continue to be the change. I want to change the narrative, And I know a lot of people in the departments who fight so hard for patient safety. They fight so hard for education with the regulatory things. They want to improve the processes. And so while they're fighting for the patient, I'm going to continue to fight for them. That's it.
I love it. I love it. And I don't know if everybody realizes how deep that was to just say that you're not going to match energy. Anybody who has been a leader in a department, really just staff in the department, when you look at someone and so you get that era of, well, they didn't do it, so I'm not doing it. And then things start going awry because everybody just said, I'm not going to do it because someone else, because you matched energy, right? Because you're matching energy. Now look where we are. So I appreciate that. That was valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, fighting fire with fire only leaves ashes. Fighting fire with fire only leaves ashes. That's it. You're going to burn up what you work for, trying to burn up what somebody else worked for. Let it go. Yeah.
Look, I am excited because I know everyone is trying to figure out what led you to the decision to go behind the scenes.
All right. Well, it was a combination of a few things. I do believe things I get to do. And I say get to do because I've been in positions in my life where I have to do stuff, and I had to do stuff that I didn't even want to do. So I try to use my language to remind me, like, stop tripping. You get to do this. Somebody else would love what you call a problem. So I believe I'm blessed to be a blessing. And that's why I help to have other people have visibility also. And I like partnering with people in visibility and growth. So what is making me go behind the scenes? There's just a skill set I have there. Like, some people don't know that I've helped people publish books. I've helped people write books and publish books. Some people have been a part of a program I do called The Reset. Hey, if y'all been in The Reset, go ahead and give some love. Let people know I'm not making these programs up. But there's a program called The Reset. And, you know, that's just where you're able to work with people behind the scenes and help them optimize whatever season that they're in. And so with this, Knowledge and Nonsense has been amazing for me. I truly believe it's part of the reason I've been able to speak at HSPA. I was in Vegas also, just meeting other people, being able to be a resource for individuals in rural communities who may not have large chapters, or they don't have, like, some of them don't even have tracking systems, you know. And so in being blessed to be a blessing, there is also a thing where you can reach your cap in an area and you can keep sitting there. Like, I'm big. People say my purpose is to do this. I believe my purpose is to be the clay. If you're not, this is I'm sorry for those of us who may not. I'm from Oklahoma, so some of my things will come from the Bible, and because I'm a person of that type of faith. But I just try to be the clay. Some people get in a position and they're like, I must be this always. But my success and my growth, my trajectory has been many different things, with me operating in different roles and in different capacities. So I believe for Knowledge and Nonsense, as far as sitting in the seat, interviewing people, I've been able to interview over 300 and something people, amazing individuals. Wow. Amazing individuals. Wow. Again, I am SPD adjacent, so I'm going to fight for the people within SPD. And it just happened that now I believe the seat is yours. You know, I'm still going to be in. I'm here. I can sit in the seat, no worries. But I believe the seat is yours for this season. And so I don't mind being behind the scenes doing whatever to help your season go better. I don't mind being behind the scenes for other people who may have a podcast or a show that I work with for their season to be better and to be the utmost. And so that's part of that. Now, it also happened to work. It just happened to work, you know, that there were other changes and transitions in my life, which just allowed me to do it. I was like, I don't want to fill this up with something else like what I left. Mm-hmm. Let me fill it up in doing what I love to do and what I've been loving to do. And so I don't know if that answered your question, but that's it.
It does. You said something that triggered me just a little bit, and I can't remember what it was now, but it made me think about a conversation that I had with my mother the other day. She said, "Daughter, how are you doing?" And I said, "You know, I'm really tired, but I prayed for this, so I won't complain." I asked God to make me the chapter president, and I am. I told him I wanted to speak, and I am. I told him we needed a podcast, and here we are. So I said, I prayed for this, so I'm just going to put in the work. And so I appreciate you for all the work that you have put in, and for helping me in this next phase. What's next? Tell us. What do you have next?
Well, let me let people. Okay, so here's what I do. You said what's next? What's next is what's always been. It's just been under the other things took Other things maybe had more visibility, but I'm going to continue with UCDI leadership. UCDI leadership teaches in progressive leadership, because as people progress in this SPD specific, as people progress, often in SPD, there aren't really programs to show you. If you don't have an Anthony Bondin or a Green Golden or a Monique Jelks, if you know, if or Brian North, if you don't have somebody who says, "Hey, I'm gonna take you under my wing and mentor you," then people will put you in position because you are a good technician. And then they'll put you in a supervisor management position, but they don't give you any tools, nothing with soft skills, nothing even as far as email etiquette. And so in 2014, 2015, I really began to develop this program for leadership, because my background is leadership. My university degree is leadership. I'm certified in human behavior. So I've always, anybody in the programs that I work, they know this, but I've always done that. So I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to do that. I'll use that to help people have visibility as well, so they know how to speak in interviews, how to use their words correctly to promote movement. So I'll continue to do more of that. I just won't be on here visibly every week, but I'll continue to do more of that. I'm excited about what the future holds.
Oh, yes. I love that. And you're right. I'm recognizing that more and more. Exactly what you said, that sometimes when we get into these leadership roles, I will tell you, my first leadership position, nobody told me anything. I had to do a lot of figuring out, a lot of trial and error, and just a lot of asking my resources. And that was another reason why I really enjoy going to that HSPA conference. I really enjoy being a subject matter expert. There are people that I met last year as a subject matter expert that I still communicate with this until this day, because they're great resources. And we communicate with each other to say, "Hey, are you doing this process? Hey, what are you doing about this?" Having that community is absolutely amazing, especially if you are growing within the field. So that leadership training is crucial, because sometimes you get into some situations, like you said, where you don't necessarily have the support that you would have wanted or dreamed of when you thought about stepping into those positions. Sometimes you have to figure it out.
Listen, as somebody who, when I came into this field, it was a lot of self-training going on. It was a lot of verbal, like, "Hey, good job," but just the busyness and the growth of the company that I was with, it was self-training. If you wasn't teaching yourself, you wasn't getting taught. It just wasn't time to do it. And so what I found is, for me, I'm so glad for John Maxwell training and, leadership training and leadership studies. I'm so glad for those things, because it made me reflect on my own growth, like self-awareness. Awareness drives behavior, some of the concepts that I share, because I believe if those things weren't there, I'm already a demanding type of leader. Like, I'm like, "Hey, excellence is what we're shooting for. Now I'll give you 80%. You don't have to be perfect. 80%. Okay. Let's live around 80. So if you go down to 76, that's all right. But next week I need you back at 85. You know what I'm saying? We're going to live around that 80%. But I really feel like when you have to teach yourself everything in that moment, I teach on transition too, but in that moment when you're teaching yourself everything, you don't have the capacity to teach anyone else. And if you're a leader and you're teaching yourself everything in that season, how can you lead somebody else? That is the blind leading the blind. And what's going to happen is you're going to be sick of them being blind, but they sick of you being blind. So it's not going to be a good combination. So how do we work that out, And so that's why, again, too, you said, move into another seat. Okay, that's just it. You make the path. You make a path as much as you can for people in your sphere. Hey, let me give a shout out to Lila.
Yes,
Lila, you had asked the origin story of knowledge or nonsense. I must give a shout out to Lila. I have to give a shout out to LaWayne Perkins. I have to give a shout out to Sharon Green Golden. I have to give a shout out to Danny Vasquez. Individuals who showed up, sometimes twice a week, they would show up during the initial part in 2020, after COVID. I have to give a shout out to SIPS Consults, because there was they allowed that thing to kind of come together. What I was already doing with UCDI, teaching on transition 623 every day at 623, I would go live to help people deal with the fact that we can't go outside. And now I'm in this house with somebody who I thought I loved, but that's because we were never around each other stuff for 2 hours a day. Now we're in here 24 hours a day, and I got to look at you and you got to look at me. And I don't even know these kids who gave birth to the, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot going on in them first few months, and everybody was on punishment. Nobody could go outside. But during that season, those individuals showed up. They showed up week in and week out, and they would help because I didn't have the knowledge that they had. I had the visibility, but I didn't have the knowledge. And so every week, your Lila Prices, your Luanes, Green Goldens, like they would show up and say, hey, no, that's not what you do. Okay, you don't have PPE. Here's some things you can do. No, do not reprocess the gown. You know what I'm saying? Right. Listen, stop wearing the same PPE and decontam. Regardless of what people were saying, people were being asked to do some crazy stuff. I don't know if you remember, they were, you know, and I was like, hey, they're telling my nieces and nephews they can't catch this because they Black or because they're young. And I'm like, it's a virus. And so I just really appreciate those individuals. Lila, much love. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Again, I feel like the work that you do is going to be visible, but what's visible should be a reflection of what's behind the scenes too. You know, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I've digressed, but what else are you going to ask me? Yes, Brian, iron sharpening iron.
So I'm aware of our time. So I'm going to say, where do you see sterile processing in the next 10 years? And then what will be your contribution to the advancement of sterile processing?
Oh, man. In the next 10 years, let me look at this. I definitely see more director roles being added. Yes. And I'm super excited about the director roles. Because 5 years ago, the way we have directors now, we didn't have it. And I truly believe Knowledge or Nonsense and HSPA and other organizations contributed greatly to the fact that we have director roles in SPD now, because that's who should be directing SPD.
Absolutely. And it's inspiring to see that.
Yeah, it is. It is. Again, that's the thing. Like, you want to have retention in this industry, but it could be a thankless industry. But honestly, letting people work in their strength zones is amazing. And so let them be the director. They've been working in here for 20 years. They know everything. They know where the bodies are. They know the instruments without having to look at a tracking system. They understand what instruments go with what, and they understand really what to do with a budget, whether the upline thinks they do or not. So I like the fact that there are more director roles. And what that is building more trust with the C-suite, while also inspiring individuals who are in the body of sterile processing of the possibility of being a director. First over a facility, then maybe over a system. You know, we have more systems. So that's what I see in the next 10 years. I see more director roles. Actually, what else? In the next 10 years, I truly see more people taking time off. I know that sounds crazy, right? But
no,
I think people are going to value the fact that what we do, we work hard. Mm-hmm. And we want to enjoy hard too, you know? And so I see people taking more time off, like more PTO. I see that companies and organizations where before the pendulum was like, well, if you want a job, this is what you're going to have to do. Yes. If you want to have top tier individuals and quality individuals, I see that lessening over the next 10 years. I do see certain roles diminishing, not going away completely, but diminishing because of the increase in technology. So there are going to be things that technology can do that you may be doing now, and you may feel like, well, they can't do it better than me. No, but sometimes people don't even want it to do it better. They may want it to do it equal or just enough. And so I feel like the people who are in SPD now will become less afraid. I'm not saying everybody is afraid. So right there, don't let your chest and everything go up. I ain't scared. Who's in charge? No, I feel like more people in sterile processing where before they were kind of standoffish with technology and what's they're going to do. They're going to lean more into it, and it's going to create roles in sterile processing, not necessarily, you know, some will diminish. Some may go away altogether. But there's also an opportunity, and it's going to create roles. And in creating roles, it's going to create a new subset of leaders, because those individuals are going to know about the technology and be able to master technology. And they're going to end up leading other people who who maybe just said, I'm not going to do anything with technology. And so that's what I see in the next 10 years in SPD. I do.
You're absolutely right. I have been seeing a lot more departments using robots for different things. And I got to tell you that it's something that I'm absolutely interested in. And I want to see myself just to see how that works within the department. A few years back, I would have said, absolutely not. It doesn't work. You can't do it. But the more I see it and the more I hear about it and the more people talk about it, the more I'm thinking, I need to see this process. How does this work?
I could I could see right offhand how it worked. Just think about 10 years ago, because I've been in the field over 10 years now. You know, I'm decade plus. I've been in here a little bit. But I remember when I came in, there were people, oh my God, in Detroit, in New York, just at different places where there were accounts. And yes, Detroit, but they were having to push the transporters. They were having to walk. Some of them even underground across the street pushing stuff. And
Yes.
what are you talking about? And that's okay. So that's going to work against the facility because what is that? What is it when you get hurt? Workman's comp because your back is hurting.
Mhm.
Ow! That's something a
Mhm.
robot can do.
Oh, yes.
That's something a robot can do. You understand what I'm saying? You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
get the
forgot
cart
about that.
ready. Yeah. So yes, hear me when I say that's something a robot can and will do. Can and will do. Robots aren't going to sue if they fall and get hurt. You know, and based on how many people get hurt, that has a direct impact on the insurance that organization on how much money their insurance they're going to have to pay, which then gets passed on down to the workers as well. So no, I do think that. And somebody else said more offsite reprocessing centers. Yes,
Oh,
yes, because
yes.
people are going to want to capitalize on their space and any headaches. Just stay with me, guys. Don't take it personal. Any headaches that they can offload to somebody else to handle, so that
Mhm.
they can drive and drive volume up and do those things. That's what they're going to do. So
I do
yeah,
see more of that. I do agree with that. That's something that I would be interested in too. If I were a leader in the area and saying, "Hey, if I had that opportunity, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely."
It
Especially if I were thinking about things like our loaner reprocessing, and so there are some things that could benefit from that. So absolutely.
definitely rural
What
hospital ASCs that don't have the up to date pipe systems, you know, because it was built in 1941 or something. The water pressure they can't even handle what's needed now. Yes, Harry. Dang, 41. Okay, I feel like Kevin Hart. Dang.
Yes, I just needed to take a moment to acknowledge and say, Harry, oh my God, 41 years in the industry.
Come on
I
with it.
You're right. I'm a baby. I have been doing this 20 plus, and when I think about 41, I'm still a baby.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My
I see.
goodness. Thank you.
I see Green Golden on here as well. So Harry's
Hello.
over here shared information with me. Green Golden. Listen, guys, if you don't know the people who are commenting in here, I don't know if you're watching on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, but please connect with these people on LinkedIn. These are resources. These
Yes.
are resources. You know, I know we're in a world where it's like, you know, you think people don't do stuff for free and everybody's what's in it for me. But there are people who are not always what's in it for me. You know, these are resources. And these people helped me long before there was a knowledge and nonsense platform. They didn't know. I was just clueless. I remember following Sharon Green Golden around in Michigan, just, you know, and just the time that she gave, you know. So guys, connect with these individuals on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm a hush. I'm a hush. I'm so used to doing it. You gotta take it back. You gotta take it back.
It's okay. Look, I don't know if we have time for one last question before we end. Do we have time?
Oh, absolutely, we do. This is us. And guys, if you have a question, you know what? I haven't seen any questions in the chat. Y'all don't have any questions for Chimere? What is going
Yes.
on? Where are the
Yes.
questions? But I feel the love and the support. But where are the questions? Listen, I'm here. I'm here, Chimere. What's the question you were gonna say? Whether it's the last one or not.
You know what? I love what you said. And so I'm going to say if anyone has a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. And that will be the last question, whether it's for me or for Sharon. And we will take that last question. If you just hurry up real quick and type that in.
All right.
Let's see.
Thank you, Lila. I appreciate that. Lila, did you put that in? That's like twice you put that in there. Green golden.
Absolutely, Miss Sharon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, our president is doing her thing. Love and support. Y'all share this video. I'm not playing. Even when it's off, share it again. I want Chimere to be just overwhelmed with the amount of love that comes her way. I'm so excited. Chimere, I don't even really know you like that, but I'm so proud of you. I always get excited when I see people in the industry truly step up and you know that they want to serve. And so I love it.
Somebody said the cruise. So let me tell you about the cruise. Someone said the cruise. GSPA is having a cruise conference in October of this year, October 24th through October 27th. Thank you to that person. You can register now. If you go on LinkedIn and go to GSPA, you will see, or Georgia Sterile Processing Association, you will see the flyers. If you reach out to us at gspachapter@gmail, we will send you the information. It is for everyone. Please don't think that we are just for Georgia. We are all inclusive. Everything that we are doing, we are putting it out to our brothers and sisters everywhere in healthcare. So come on. 789. I see you, Harry.
Yes, he meant it. He meant it. Let me put it up there. That's the question, guys. Why is 6 afraid of 7? And it is because 7, 8, 9.
And that's
yes.
It. That is
and
it.
That's it. Okay, so is that it? Are we good? No more questions from you either? You sure? All right, then let's do this. Guys, if you're still on with us, if you would be so kind as to stay with us for about 2.5 minutes. That means we will be approximately 5 minutes. We'll be 1 hour and 5 minutes. What I would like for you to do now, anybody who makes a comment, and you can just put CC for Chimere Curry, just put CC, just put that comment in the chat, and we're going to give away, I definitely have a book. I'll probably give away a book and a hat. And so if you are interested in that, put it in now. We'll wait about 30 seconds. I'll play another video. And when I come back from the video, then I'll play 2 videos. When I come back from those videos, let's do a drawing and everybody will be able to see who wins. Is that okay, Chimere, pretty please?
I love it.
Yeah, so y'all, it doesn't matter what you comment. Any comment you throw in now, the comments you threw in before, they're not going to work. So it has to be somewhere after 7, 8, 9. It has to be after the 7, 8, 9. And we need to talk to 6. And tell them 6 doesn't have to be afraid of 7, and we need to talk to 7 and tell 7 to quit being a bully. That's all I'm saying. So put the comments in. We're going to do a couple of little 30-second videos. And when we come back, we're going to see who wins the book. And if you already have that book, then we can work something else out. Maybe we can get you some apparel, or if there's, I don't know, maybe you want to audit one of the courses for free. So however it works, give us just a second and we'll be right back. soon. Chimere, did you wait for a little bit?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but Richard won, and so I want to say, I'll wait for feedback.
Yay, Richard!
Yeah, I don't know why there's feedback in, but Richard won, and we will see everybody later.
Next week.
Richard, I'm going to reach out to you on LinkedIn. Yes. Oh, look, here go all the questions now. Sorry, guys, we got to go. I will lead out. I'm going to give that question to Chimere, and she can do whatever she wants with it next week.
Okay. Good night, guys.
Right,
this was awesome.